Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S20 and see how this particular phone holds up in the later part of 2024. Now, the big thing I would definitely tell you in my personal opinion, right, is that if you are going to go through and pick up a device, definitely something like a Samsung Galaxy S20 is still very, very good, right? It's a very decent phone hardware-wise. Software-wise, it genuinely just doesn't make a lot of sense to go ahead and buy a phone like this, just because this device is already kind of outdated. The problem with this type of phone that you're going to be experiencing is that this type of device is outdated with software. It hasn't gotten an Android update since Android 13, and that is somewhat of a concerning thing. Right. So if I were you, if you were to go through and get a phone, I probably would not recommend buying this phone because of a software perspective. The thing is though, is that this phone in a lot of other ways still holds up very, very well. And I'm still surprised about how good of a job this particular phone holds up. The display on this phone still looks very good. It's a 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display, and this is easily by far one of the best type of displays you can go ahead and buy. Now, it's not the best display, I kind of take that back, but back in 2020 this thing was amazing. 120 Hz, 1440p. This was also one of the last times Samsung put a 1440p panel on their base phones. So that in and of itself was another very surprising thing kind of going on for this type of phone as well. And I, for one, I was a massive fan of this type of phone when it first came out. It still looks so beautiful. You're also getting a USB Type-C port on this phone. You're also going through and basically getting your, micro SD card slot on this phone as well. That was another thing that we haven't gotten on a phone in a very long amount of time. And we basically are getting that type of capability here. So that right there was another very cool thing going on for this type of phone. And once again, I for one, I'm a massive fan of that one where this phone ended up getting those types of features. Now on top of that, another very big thing going on here too was that this type of phone was also giving you that type of capability when it came down to its, camera setup. So you were getting this triple camera setup, wide ultra-wide telephoto lens, still looks pretty good, still performs fairly well too. And I would say from a performance perspective from a camera side, I really genuinely don't have that much to complain about here. It's a very good looking lens, and I do think this again in and of itself is a very nice thing going on for this type of phone. And if you are going to go through and get a device, I think this is a very good type of device to go and buy from that perspective. Now, I would probably also add when it comes down to this type of phone, the fact that it has wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, those types of things I think speak a lot of volume onto how good of a device this thing kind of is, just because it holds up so well from that feature set when it comes down to the features that this type of device has from that side. And I do think that in and of itself was another really cool thing going on for this phone. I would say from a performance side, this phone is kind of a little bit lackluster. You're getting that Snapdragon 865 chipset inside with 8 gigabytes of RAM. And the thing that we're kind of experiencing with this type of phone is that it's really we're kind of in the situation where the performance of this phone maybe isn't at the best level of all time. It was a really good phone when it first came out. I think everyone probably knows that. But I think as of this point, it's really not that great. And that is somewhat of a problem that we're kind of experiencing here. That it really isn't that great of a phone performance level wise. And once again, that kind of is an issue that you're probably going to be experiencing if you're going to go through and pick up a phone. It's definitely not the biggest deal in the world, but that could be one other thing that you may be experiencing with this phone. And that's why if you're going to go through and pick up a device, that's why I kind of have a hard time recommending a device like this, just because it might make more sense to go buy another device that is still somewhat supported with software, that still has a lot of capability. I think that's kind of where I'm trying to put my head at when I'm recommending this type of, device. So overall, what I'll probably tell you is it genuinely probably doesn't make a lot of sense to go ahead and buy a device like this anymore. I think you're much better off purchasing a device that is still supported with software, something like a Samsung Galaxy S24, S23, S22. Those devices are probably significantly better than this type of device when it comes down to it. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.